In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make plastic motorcycle side covers look like wood. Using the same techniques that I used on the gas tank here. If you want to see that video, check out the link up here or in the description. But this one's a little bit different because these are plastic and this is metal. Behind me here are the products that I'm going to be using to get this job done. First, obviously, we're using a good primer. You got to use a good plastic primer. This is universal bonding primer, and it's great for priming plastic parts and stuff that is usually kind of hard to paint. And then for my base coat, I'm using warm caramel satin Rust-Oleum spray paint. And then to get the wood effect, on top of that warm caramel paint, we're using special walnut wood stain, and then just a 2-inch cheap chip brush. Then after the stain is dry, obviously we're going to use a clear coat. I'm using this VHT Gloss Clear wheel paint clear coat. This is good for anything automotive. And then these side covers here, I guess these are a reproduction. I got them on eBay for like 50 bucks for 2 side covers, and they're brand new. And then I also got some emblems. These are reproduction emblems, 504 emblems from 4-into-1 on eBay. And I'm gonna have links to all these products in the description down below. So let's get into this, guys. The first thing I'm gonna have to do is sand this plastic to rough it up a little bit so that paint sticks to it, because it's not gonna stick to this glossy surface that we have now. So let's start by hitting it with some 220 grit sandpaper and just roughing it up. That's before, after. No more gloss. I gotta do the same thing to the other one. Okay, I'd say this is good too. I'm gonna wipe them down with some paint thinner. Just any solvent will do, just to make sure the surface is nice and clean before painting. Okay, now I'm gonna hit these guys with some universal bonding primer. I'm gonna start out with one thin light coat. Alright, now I'm gonna let that dry and then hit it with another coat. It took about 5 minutes in this intense sun to dry that primer, so let's hit it with a second coat. And I'm gonna go ahead and put on a light coat of my warm caramel spray paint. Second coat of warm caramel. Okay, now it is time for the third and final coat of warm caramel on the side covers. Good to go. It's been about 5 hours. Paint's totally dry now. When I was doing my gas tank with the same effect, I've noticed that the stain doesn't really soak in if the paint's glossy like this is. So I'm going to take a little bit of 220 grit sandpaper and just kind of lightly rough it up a little bit. And it also kind of helps if you go ahead and give it the wood grain pattern right away with the sandpaper, like that. And then wipe the dust off. Here's where the magic happens. I'm going to take my stain and take my brush. And you don't need too much stain here. It's easy to get carried away and put way too much on, but I think the less is more with this part. You just start brushing it on. And it kind of looks like crap at first, but if you just keep brushing it, as the stain dries and kind of soaks into the paint, which it definitely does, then you start to get a really cool wood effect. Go around all the edges. There we go. There's that wood effect already starting. You get different patterns the harder you push with your brush too. I want like a light spot kind of going in a stripe right where the emblem's gonna go. So I'm gonna push really hard and try to get some of the stain off like that. Then I'm gonna dry my brush with a paper towel. Do it again. Gonna blend that back in. Pretty happy with that look there, so I think I'm gonna stop now. Crazy the difference that stain makes. I'm gonna do the same exact thing to this one. Okay guys, it is the next day and the stain is all dry and it's time to hit it with some clear coat. Paint coat. Clear coat is like getting all crackly looking. As soon as it went on, it just started crackling up. Wonder if this is not compatible with the stain or something. Maybe if I just do another coat, you won't be able to notice that crackling texture. I guess I should just let that dry and see if it happens again. About 10 minutes later, I can still kind of see that crackling. I don't know. It kind of came back, I guess. Alright guys, it's the next day and this clear coat did dry and cure on. And I know it's not a compatibility issue because I used the same clear coat on the same painted stain type thing that on my front fender, and this didn't happen. I think the problem is that they were sitting out in the sun and they were just too hot. And as soon as the paint hit them, it started wrinkling on. So I'm just gonna flatten it out with some 220 grit sandpaper and then probably bump up to 400 grit sandpaper and then give it another coat of clear coat. And hopefully after that, it'll really start to shine. Since this is wet or dry sandpaper, gonna get a little bit of water on here. That just makes it easier to keep the dust off. Got rid of all that weird wrinkling texture, and it's a nice matte look now, but I want gloss, so I'm definitely gonna hit it with another coat of clear coat. Okay guys, take two of trying to clear coat these side panels. I'm gonna spray them down with some paint thinner here and wipe that off. So this time I'm using Raptor 1K Pro Enamel Diamond Clear Coat. This is actually like fuel resistant and it's a little more expensive, but I think it'll be worth it, hopefully. Well, I don't see any wrinkling yet, so that's a good thing. I'm gonna let that dry and probably do 2 more coats just like that. 10 minutes later, and it's looking good. We have no wrinkling. It's pretty much dry already. We do have a little bit of orange peel, so hopefully the second coat will take care of that. All right, 10 more minutes and then we'll do a third and final coat. Okay guys, it's the next day and these side covers came out so good. It's really nice glossy finish, but there are some spots with orange peel, like right here. Basically all around the sides. It was really hard to do the sides. So I'm gonna take some really fine sandpapers, like 1200, 1500, 2000, wet sand these side covers. Yeah, it's hard to sand too. I can tell it's a nice hard protective layer. Now I'm gonna move up to 1200 grit sandpaper. And now some 1500 grit sandpaper. Now I'm gonna hit it with some 2000 grit sandpaper on my polisher. Okay, now I'm gonna use this real soft, like wool pad. Some turtle wax, light to medium cleaning polishing compound. And it's time to bring the shine back. Okay, now I'm gonna switch from the wool pad to a foam pad. Now that these side covers are polished up as good as I can, I'm gonna use some turtle wax just to protect this paint job even better. You just rub it on, and it says to allow that to dry to a haze. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's been a good 10-15 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it off with the dry part of this cloth. Kind of buff it. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Now it's finally time to put on the emblem. The emblem has 3 little pins on the back, and the side cover has 3 holes on it. Oh, but of course the holes don't line up. Almost do. Looks like I'm gonna have to drill this one out a little bigger. There we go. Oh, that looks so nice. With the emblems came these little tiny clips, and those just go over those pins, I guess. And they also only included 2 of those things, so I guess you just put it on the side pins, not the middle one. Okay, well, I guess those are on there. Let's see if this one fits. Nope. There we go. Okay, that's about it. That's it. I hope you guys like the finished product as much as I do. I think it came out really cool, and I'm getting so excited to reassemble this bike. There's really not much left to do. I'm going to have one more video before reassembly, and that will just be preparing for reassembly. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on the reassembly of this bike coming very soon. Thank you to my patrons, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.